very talented midfielder from Lille and the Moroccan national team. One of the faces of this World Cup. 18 years old, the debut game between Morocco and Brazil by Bouaddi was fantastic. Special. We all have in our eyes the quality of Bouaddi playing against legends of the game like Casemiro, like Fabinho. So Bouaddi is a top talent. Lille have been smart in signing a new contract with Bouaddi before the World Cup, so Lille can control the deal. Manchester City have genuine interest in Bouaddi. Is one of the players being considered by Manchester City eventually for summer 2027. So the idea of Manchester City, the starting idea, then let's see how conversations develop, could be to try go for the player in summer 2027. So Manchester City have an interest in Bouaddi. I'm told that also Paris Saint-Germain have been in touch with people close to the player. PSG have different priorities, attack and defense, but Paris Saint-Germain have also been in touch with people close to the player to understand the situation. So let's see what's going to happen with Bouaddi. I told you that Arsenal and Liverpool had meetings before the World Cup for this boy, so both clubs were already tracking him. Manchester City are in a conversation for eventually 2027, so we have to keep close eye to this boy because there is going to be a lot of movement, and let's see who's going to win the race for Bouaddi. For sure, a very, very interesting one to follow. More to mention also on Bruno Guimarães, guys. Another story I told you over the last 24 hours, bid from Arsenal, so important story, because Arsenal sent a proposal of £55 million to Newcastle, rejected, no intention to accept from Newcastle, and Newcastle also told Arsenal and the agents of the player they don't want to entertain any bid, they don't want to negotiate. For Bruno Guimarães, they want to keep the player, but Arsenal told players camp and are ready to tell Newcastle as well that they plan to return with a new proposal. So Arsenal want to try again for Bruno Guimarães with a higher proposal. Will this happen? I will let you know if it's going to happen. I will let you know if Arsenal will send another official bid. The first proposal has been confirmed everywhere, and I can confirm £55 million, never enough to convince Newcastle. They want to keep the player. They want to continue with him. Now it's going to depend on this second bid. But Newcastle already told very clear that they want to keep Bruno.
I'm talking about players with big price tags. Julián Álvarez, he's a name that was dominating before the World Cup, and it's developed during the World Cup as well, because after one of Argentina's games, he actually said effectively that he wants to leave to fulfill his dream. So he wants to leave Atletico Madrid. That dream, we think, is to go to Barcelona. They've already rejected 150 million from Real Madrid. They've got a 500 million euro release clause on Julián Álvarez. With these comments that he's made, though, do you believe now that maybe, just maybe, that price tag might just be eking a little bit down?
Yeah, definitely. And also, have you ever been on social media when you check if that account is actually real? I know it's harder than ever, but when Atletico were sort of openly posting certain videos to Real Madrid and posting videos to Barcelona, I'm just double checking it. That tick, is it definitely of the official account? We're talking about mega clubs, not, we're not Ishmi Ryman League, it's quite unbelievable what I was looking at, but it was very clear. I was in Madrid for the Champions League farce of a game against Spurs in March, and he was the one the locals constantly talked about. There's something about him, and of course it was interesting to see his development from his Manchester City days. I know there's been tentative talks about interest from Arsenal. That hasn't really sort of come this summer, but it was maybe last season. So we are certainly entering saga territory, and when you've got Barcelona and Real Madrid vying for the same player, you are going to get a bit of a story.
You are, absolutely. It would help as well if he could maybe get fit and play at the World Cup, because he's been pretty absent so far. Obviously, he ended up playing the last stages of the season injured, didn't he? The fact that he was withdrawn chasing the game against Arsenal in the semi-final, that told you that he was probably playing through something, because when you're chasing that game, there's no way you're taking off a player like Alvarez unless you absolutely have to. So we actually haven't seen the best of him over the last couple of months, which is a big shame.